Did you notice the connections between the emotions in the movie Inside Out 2? There's a detail that reveals that each emotion connects to another. And the emotions of Riley's parents that are different, they are controlled differently. You can even understand more about each one's personality. And the reference to the next movie that Pixar will release, in Inside Out 2, in this movie, it's even possible that Riley knows one of the characters of this next movie. Yeah, in this video I will show you a lot of details, reference and Easter eggs in this movie, this amazing movie, and if you wanna know, let's go! Hello everyone who watching this beautiful channel, my name is João Victor and I'm back to talk about one of the best movies that I recently watched. I'm talking about Inside Out 2, this animation from Pixar that is very interesting. There's a bunch of details since it's a Pixar movie, and probably one of these details that I'm going to tell you didn't notice. But don't forget to check the like, it helps me a lot with the channel, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more content about shows, TV shows and movies. Also, thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your support with my videos. Let's go. Yeah, I need to talk about how this movie works very well for all ages, whether for children in terms of fun or for adults in terms of reflecting on life and deepening emotions. And I'd like to start this video talking about a very important detail in the beginning of the movie. I'm talking about the Riley's colorful t-shirt. This t-shirt that is very important for the beginning because it's like a teaser for what is coming to Riley's life. Like, we know that every emotion has its own color, like sadness is blue, angry is red. And in this scene at the beginning of the movie, we see Riley in the room with this, it's not a t-shirt, it's like a sweater that represents that she's in a new phase, open to the entry of the new emotions. We can see the different colors there, like orange, that is anxiety. And as I said, it works like a teaser for us that Riley is going to a new step on her life, her new phase, her puberty, her new emotions coming to her mind. Yeah, that's a very important one to start, but let's go to the next one that refers to Pixar, the Pixar movies. I'm talking about the number 28. Yeah, at this point I think most of the people noticed this, but if you didn't notice the Riley's hockey shirt, we see that her number is 28, which represents the movie itself, which is the 28th Pixar movie. Yeah, since Pixar released its first film, Inside Out is the number 28 in the story, because there was a change. The next one that I'm going to mention in this video was supposed to be the number 28, but it was delayed, and now Inside Out 2 is the number 28, so this reference works. These first details end up being more superficial, but let's go to the next ones that go deeper in the emotions. I like to talk about the size of envy, one of the new emotions. You probably noticed it, that she's the small one, and this is like a detail related to this emotion, because this shows how a person feels when they feel like jealous for another, very small. It's very interesting because even it's an animation movie, they used to think about every detail inside this emotion. This is why I love this movie, but there's more, there's much more. Let's talk about the connected emotions, because there's a connection between these emotions. Like in most of them, there's a connection to another one. Some emotions feel other emotions too and need them to complete themselves. Like Joy, she has a blue hair. This is a clear reference to sadness. Joy and sadness used to complete each other, so she sometimes used to feel sadness in this movie. In this first movie we also see this. Also, this Gus is not only green, she has a purple like scarf there, and it's a reference to fear that is close to her. To feel this Gus, sometimes you need fear. And talking about fear, he's not only purple, he has this red tie in his neck because he's also anger. The red one there is angry. Sometimes when you feel fear, you feel angry, and most it refers to the character Fear. In the movie, sometimes you see him getting so much anger. Also, going back to the previous detail, talking about envy, she also has a bunch of details that refers to another emotion, like this purple hair clip in her head and her purple shirt. It's a clear reference to fear. In envy, you also have fear inside it. And there's more, there's much more color connections. I will talk about it more later, but let's go to the next detail. I named this detail not breathing because clearly anxiety don't take a breath. Yes, Yes, you can see this in this movie because she don't have a nose. And there's also explanation for this in real life, this emotion that everyone used to feel, mostly nowadays. Mostly when we feel anxious, we don't breathe properly. Yeah, and sometimes even when we have a crisis, like Riley had in the movie, we feel the lack of air. We don't breathe. Tell me in the comments, you notice this? But let's go to the next detail, the next very important one, and it's also about the emotions, but now let's talk about shame, because sometimes shame, it's an ally. And we see in the movie shame as an ally to the old emotions. The former group finds an ally in the new emotion, which even has an affinity with sadness and helps her. It's a reference that those who feel ashamed tend to be sad in general. Having shame, it's not bad because it can also help you. He seems like a bad emotion, but he's necessary. He's like infiltrate to save Riley's emotion. And it's very important, but let's talk about the villain again, the anxiety. The biggest villain in this movie, because there's another detail, another secret when anxiety arrives. I like to talk about orange everywhere. That's the name of this detail, because when anxiety arrives, everything in the movie and in the Riley's life begins to tend to the color orange. From the hockey uniforms, locker room details, and more, meaning that no matter where Riley goes, the anxiety will be with her in her life. Yeah, this small emotion arrives like a big problem, taking her entire life. But there we go to the next reference. There's much more to talk about. This one is not about the Riley's emotions, but the emotions from another person, another two people. I like to talk about the Riley's parents' emotions, because there's a big difference inside their mind. Each mind has a different emotion that controls each other. And first, talking about Riley's father's emotion, we see that anger is the one that controls his mind, is the one in control of every emotion, the center of everything. Close to him, we have fear, we have sadness. Like, this is not a bad detail, this is not a bad thing. If anger is the main thing, it could be a sense of protection from the father. It could be not a bad thing, because there's other emotions. It's not only angry there. And talking about Riley's mother, inside her mind, we see a different place. It's like a living room, since the father's like a studio, is like a theater backstage, something like this. But Riley's mother's mind is controlled by sadness. She's the one in the center of everything. But another important thing here that I like to mention is about joy. Riley's mother's joy is different. It's not shiny as Riley's joy. It could mean mature joy, or that she doesn't used to feel much joy, which could be sad. Yeah, but okay. I like this detail. This is a very good one. We had this detail since the first movie, but I had to mention here. But there we go. Let's talk about another details in the movie, another reference that aren't about the emotion, but it's also interesting. I'm talking about the reference to Dora the Explorer. When we go deep into Riley's mind in the space of forgotten memories, we see this character for children named Bluffy, who is a total parody of a Nickelodeon character, Dora the Explorer. Like, Dora used to be a character who asks the audience what we should do, waiting for answers. Like Bluffy does, we also have Dora's backpack that talks and gives her the tools she might need and asks the audience which one should be the right one. Here we have this funny money belt, which is the same of Dora's backpack. They really did it on purpose, like the same thing. But yeah, let's go to the next detail, the next important one. But this one is about the Pixar movies. In the beginning, I talked about the number of this Pixar movie. Inside Out 2 is the 28th movie. But which one is the next one? In this movie, we have a reference. I'm talking about the next Pixar movie, Elio. Yeah, this is the movie that was supposed to be the 28th movie of Pixar. There's a trailer for this movie since the beginning of the year, but it was delayed to 2025. If you don't know, the movie is about an 11-year-old boy who accidentally becomes an intergalactic ambassador. The movie is about aliens, space, and secret missions, and there's a reference there. I can't show the scene here because we don't have the footage of the scene and it's still in theaters, but there's a scene when Sadness returns to the central base and she takes some memories with her, and one of the memories is a boy that is very similar to Elio. And this also could mean that if it's inside Riley's mind, it means that Riley's know Elio, since there's a theory that all the Pixar movies are connected. This scene is another one that works as it, but there we go to the next detail. Talking about some reference to other Pixar movies, let's talk about a reference to an old Pixar movie. I like to talk about the Toy Story binocular. Lenny, You notice him. Yeah, we see some emotions using these well-known binoculars from Toy Story, especially sadness in this scene. She's clearly using Lenny there, the binoculars. It's a clear reference. They put it there like on purpose. I like to see this one because I love Toy Story, but there we go. There we go to the next detail. It's not like a reference to another Pixar movie, but now it's an important detail about the story, about Riley. Talking about Riley's maturity. Yep. We see this in this movie, in this scene. In the beginning, we see she's waking up using her father's t-shirt, and the name of the company there is Brank. It's her father's job. But if you don't remember, the reason they moved to San Francisco in the first movie was Brank, was her father's job. And in this scene, we have him using this same t-shirt. So the fact that Riley is wearing it represents her maturity now in the second movie. Like, she has different things to fight about, but she doesn't need to hate the company her father works for anymore. Another very good one, but now let's talk about the end of the movie because we have more two details refers to the ending. One of them is Michigan and Minnesota, and I'm talking about it because we see in the movie that Riley initially becomes known to her hockey teammates as Michigan for having panic and say the wrong thing, the wrong word. At the end, we see that they call her Minnesota, suggesting that Riley confessed at some point that she had said something wrong. We don't see this confessing scene in the movie, but it suggests this scene. And there we go to the other detail, going back to the emotions, because talking about the end of the movie, I like to talk about the anxiety again, because anxiety wasn't destroyed, she still exists. Yes, did you notice? Like, the film spends the entire time making us to hope for the end of anxiety so that it can be thrown out of Riley's mind or something similar, but in the end that's not what happened. The explanations that anxiety is also necessary, it can be part of the mind but in a controlled way. This is how joy solves everything. Like, we can be anxious about good things that are coming, but it needs to be in a controlled way. That's the meaning of everything. That's the moral. Go put in the comments what you think about it, what you think about the details, which one you think is the best one. Don't forget to check the like, it helps me a lot. Don't forget to subscribe in this channel if you want more content about it. Thank you for your patience with my English. As I said in other videos, I will keep trying to improve it. I'll be back soon. Bye.